endi sumkasini tepasidan tashlayman, suv yorib yozilganini. Stroka. Qo'lga chiqdi. Chiqdi. Kapiraga chiqildi. Endi telegramdan bo'ldi, hozir tashlab olaman. Bo'ldi. Azim. Qani chiqib ketadi mana. राईसला.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Institutnya memulai audiensi soal itu adalah selain kebijakan strategi dan bentuk memulai terus stabilnya bentuk memulai strategi adalah soalnya sahabat juga soalnya anjuran dalam citra ministry dalam rais itu bersama kami merasa bahwa kata itu Ortodoks bersama dengan Zaman anda asal strategi semua itu adalah boleh kita berbicara tentang Bugünleri takipte koşullarla anlamda koşullarla bizim tamamen arasında boş çalışmalarımızda kuruluşlarda layık bir karşılaşmalardan yürütüyorlar. Bugünkü manzara kamuoyunda uzun kullanımız layık kuruluşlarda için oval kullanımlar yürütüyorlar. Usulün fazla kullanımı anlamda muhtemelen umum dakikalar umum dakika içinde bizim vizitasyonlarımız yapılır. Şimdi sınava yapılır. Şimdi vizitasyonlarımızı naklaşını prezentasyonunu başlatacağız. Sınavının birinci bir kişi akranlar Mustafa, Muhammed Muhammed Şefer, Muhammed Muhammed Muhammed Guru, Anima Firuza, Abdüsattor Gülü'yle, İsmail'le Mayoklar, Kuşada, Hamalar'ın meşhur kişinin gösterdi. Birinci talablarımız akranlar Mustafa'nın Firuza The topic of academic music, critical thinking skills developed in a qualitative ELC education, the role of critical thinking expresses integrated into the teaching methodology of English language education. Scientific advisor, Rupanga Dudimasa. Okay, let's begin.
Good morning, dear teachers and fellow students. My name is Mustafa, and today I'm going to present my research on topic critical thinking skills development for ESL education. In today's worldwide world, English is no longer just a subject; it's a global tool for international communication, career advancement, and education. Learning a language is not only about memorizing grammar rules or vocabulary, it's also about developing the ability to think, analyze, and communicate in meaningful conversations. Critical thinking is therefore a key 21st century skill that should be developed alongside language proficiency. So, the aim of my research is to analyze how critical thinking exercises impact ESL education, and the main tasks include exploring the theoretical foundations of critical thinking, and to investigate practical ways of integrating critical thinking tasks into ESL teaching methodologies. And the last one is to assess how such integration affects students' language proficiency, language acquisition, and their confidence and autonomy. So theoretically, this study extends the understanding of modern ESL pedagogy, and practically it provides useful strategies for teachers and learners to implement in real classrooms. So the chapter 1 is about the theoretical part of ESL education. Worldwide, ESL education is growing rapidly. However, many outdated teaching methods remain still in use, and there is a clear shift toward modern methods that develop both language skills and critical thinking. The base of my research, according to the theoretical framework of critical thinking, is Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy is a helpful framework that helps developing critical thinking according to 6 stages, and has been introduced by Benjamin Bloom in 1956. And I also reviewed several ESL methodologies from traditional grammar translation to communicative and audiolingual methods. Chapter 2 is about designing and implementing critical thinking exercises and types of exercises. The first one is discussion-based activities, which include debates, Socratic questioning, and open-ended discussions. The second type of exercise is problem-solving tasks. This includes case studies and real-life scenarios that help students apply language in different kinds of situations. And the last one is creative activities. Role-plays, simulations, and project-based learning allow students to explore real-world issues through imaginative tasks. And I also included some simple lesson plans and challenges in integrating critical thinking exercises. The first sample lesson activity is daily. For example, teachers should introduce the topic like, is social media helpful or harmful, and students should give their own opinions and discuss the sides of the topic. The second one is problem-solving tasks. For example, planning a trip abroad. Learners should group up in teams and to plan a realistic travel scenario or computing options. And there are some challenges in implementation. The first one is teacher readiness. Some teachers may lack in training for using critical thinking exercises during the lesson. And the second one is curriculum restrictions. Standardized curriculum often prioritize only the grammar and test preparations rather than reading alone for open-ended tasks. And the chapter 3 is about role of critical thinking in language acquisition, impact on language skills. In listening, students improve their active listening by filtering relevant information and understanding content. In speaking, they defend their own opinions and analysis. In reading, they move beyond surface level texts and analyze text critically. And in writing, they learn to structure arguments logically. And also, I included some steps that enhances learners' confidence and collaborative learning environment. Critical thinking exercises promote student-led learning. Critical thinking tasks shift the focus from teacher-centered approach to student-centered, and in this approach, they take more responsibility on. And the next one, critical thinking exercises build confidence in speaking. Students feel more confident and empowered while they give their opinions. And also critical thinking encourages teamwork and cooperation. Group-based critical thinking exercises such as debates, lectures, or discussions strengthen students' collaboration skills. In conclusion, critical thinking is essential for real-world language use and must be integrated into ESL education at all levels. And even if there is a need to reform traditional methods and move forward toward more modern, interactive, and student-centered approach that develop both language and human skills.
Thank you very much for your information about your research work. I have some questions. Can you give us certain examples, types of exercises, and each of these are part of critical thinking?
As I mentioned earlier, teachers can introduce debates.
The debates is also example for the critical thinking.
Yes. They can raise topics, for example, advantages and disadvantages of social media, and they can work in groups and give their arguments and support their
Okay, how do you think critical thinking should teach in our schools or universities as a subject or as a part of the subject? Do we need such kind of subject, the critical thinking?
Maybe, but I think that teachers should just conduct a lesson by using this kind of exercises, because this helps students to learn and to think logically about their opinions and give strong arguments.
Okay, yesterday we had some work in the project-based learning, about the project-based learning. Are there any difference between project-based learning exercises and critical thinking exercises?
Project-based learning exercises are.
She also gave us the same information. Yes. This is our first thought about your work. Are there any difference?
Yes, there are some similarities, but differences too. Project-based learning method is only about some projects, but critical thinking exercises demand the thinking logically and analyzing the content.
Thank you very much for your answer. Bu taklit kelaslarının yakında anak-anak haberleri tentangnya ketika boleh tulisan bola arasında tekrar programı için taklit kelaslar tambah ular tidak bisa başlar. Matematik İngiliz ilk taklit kelaslar. Kalau itu bazı üniversiteler anlayacaklar. Bizde taklit kelaslar hanya uzatıyor. Yaitu dalam bola taklit kelas ala pada kamu student bola yang benar, sekarang di mana belajar ya belum benar. Bu reading dan rasa ini bola reading action. Kalau kau orang orang seorang terus ini action ini coba reading skill base. Because I know even the company dia orang class belum lagi dah kerja. Aslında store gibi. Hatta ne diyeceğim? Logical synthesis ada ya. Ya sıfatı o kadar. Şimdi oradaki güzel bir bekliyor. İleride fan saati okudular. Peki bize fan saati eksilmeyi gelmezse de insan oranı. Sizin kayıtlarda bu yüzden şimdi insan oranı. Bu şekilde okuyan bolanı reading yapsın. Olabildiğine bizde aynen her organı çünkü bunu 10 yıl tam saatte bu sen kırış gerekiyor. Hani şu uyarı işlerden uyarılar getirip bana da rica bolanı lor hakkı. chunki mitingda rivojlantirish uchun bu juda kerak. O'sha critical thinkingni o'qigan bolani ilmi yaxshi. O'zim bolalarimga masalan kattalarga ilmi yaxshi chiqadi. Nima to'g'rimi bu yoki noto'g'rimi yo noto'g'ri shekilli mana shu gap to'g'ri chiqadi. Bu yaxshi mavzu, keyinchalik boshqa tadqiqotlarga ham asoslanma bo'la oladi mavzuyi. Bizda faqat biz tanqidiy fikrlashga ham o'sha ichida ketadi. Biz tayyorroq qaraymiz. Aslida bularni o'sha testini biz testlarni o'shalarga asoslanib tuzilmaydi. Shuning uchun kerakli mavzu ekan. Buni keyinchalik kengroq mavzuda ingliz tili o'qitish metodikalarida ham o'rganib qo'llasa bo'ladigan mavzu. Rahmat,
Our next presenter, Muhammad Rahman, Muhammad Sir. And her topic is about the role of classroom management in teaching English.
Good morning, dear teachers and also students. My topic is the role of classroom management in teaching English. First of all, the actual necessity of the topic. Let's not get the actual necessity is very important, all of the topics. And classroom management as well. Classroom management is particularly important in English language teaching because language learning requires active participation and also continuous practice and continuous learning activities. And also aim, object and aim, subject of the research. First of all, the aim of the research. By analyzing real classroom scenarios, teacher experience and student feedback and this study aims to identify best practice and that can contribute to a well-organized and productive English learning environment. And the subject of the research is the impact of classroom management on the teaching and learning process of English. And it focuses on the how different classroom management strategies influence student behavior, engagement, motivation, and academic performance in English learning. And the last object of this research. The object of this research is the process of classroom management in English language teaching. It focuses on the various strategies, techniques, and approaches that teachers use to create an effective learning environment for English language learning. And theoretical and practical significance of this research. First of all, is theoretical significance of this research. This research contributes to theoretical understanding of classroom management in English language teaching by analyzing key concepts, principles, and strategies that influence the learning process. And the practical significance of this research. The findings of this research have direct practical application for teachers, educational institutions, and policymakers. The structure of this research, my graduation qualification work consists of introduction and three main chapters, conclusion, and also the list of literature. It is total of the work is 75 pages. And scientific knowledge of the research, it has many knowledge of the research. First one, it explores
have technology, blended learning, and different instruction, influence classroom dynamics, and language acquisition, and also it explores the challenges and faced by educators in meaning English language classroom, including issues related to student behavior, diverse proficiency levels, and integration of the technology in teaching. And it's called the theoretical foundation of classroom management in English language teaching. Also it includes three points. First point is definition and concept of classroom management, and the second one is approach to classroom management in English teaching, and the last one is psychological and pedagogical aspects of classroom management. And the essence of classroom management. First of all, classroom management. Good classroom management is the one that can serve and has needed in the learning. Also, teachers need the classroom management because therefore the characteristics, the needs of students, and the first thing that need to be known and taken into account by the teachers as well as possible. And the classroom management in English, the teaching. Classroom management in English teaching involves strategies like clear rules, positive teacher-student relationship, and engaging activities and effective time use. And these elements foster active participation and help for support the learners and all the proficiency levels. And classroom management also means create a safe and supportive environment where students feel confident using English. This helps to reduce anxiety and encourages active communication. And organizing classroom activities is essential. Teachers use methods like discussions, role plays, and games and multimedia to keep students engagement. Classroom layout also supports smooth interaction and adaptation. The teacher's role includes being monitor and motivator, not just enforcing the rules, building trust and mutual respect encourages students to take learning risks and grow from mistakes. And psychological and pedagogical aspects of classroom management. Student motivation encourages intrinsic motivation, self-driven learning, and instructions. Motivation rewards prize and potential student engagement. And behavioral psychology, applying theories such as positive reinforcement, science helps manage this behavior by rewarding several actions. And then chapter 2. Chapter 2 covers strategies and techniques for effective classroom management in teaching English. It also includes three points. This first one is the establishing positive learning environment in teachers. The second one is teachers' role in the effective classroom management. And the last one is managing classroom challenges in English teaching. And positive learning environment. Students feel secure, respected, and motivated by the teachers. It's essential for effective and effective classroom management. And such environment includes physical, social, and emotional factors to help safety and support students at all levels. And carry elements of the learning environment. First one is physical. Physical classroom should be well equipped and organized to help students to concentrate and stay organized. emotional. Students should feel emotionally to motivated to learn. Encouraging to learn helps improve performance and engagement. And social, where school-wide behavior expectations should be in place and reduce distraction and support academic social success. And two points. So teachers' role in effective classroom management. Teachers are responsible for establishing the positive climate, setting clear expectations, setting clear rules, and establishing a law of learning. And his strategies for effective classroom management. First one is developing classroom rules and establishing procedures and routines. Also effective communication and interaction. And managing classroom challenges in English teaching. Challenges it includes lack of student motivation and classroom discipline issue 1 plus 5, and language barriers, different interaction, time management, and limited resource technology, and teacher bound stress, cultural and linguistic diversity. The last chapter is practical application and case studies. First, it includes 3 points. First, an analysis of classroom management, strategies to motivate lesson, and second is innovative methods for enhancing classroom management, and the last one, teacher and student perspective on classroom management. Classroom management is defined by Erickson and Weinstein as the actions our teachers take to create an environment that supports and facilitates both academic and social emotional for the learning. And setting clear classroom rules from the first day helps prevent the future behavior and issues. For example, in English classes, teachers often introduce rules like speak English during the peer or the group work, and respect others' opinion and at least during the discussions, and also raise your hands before speaking. And student-centered activities. Learners' involvement is essential in language acquisition. Strategies include role plays, debated and project-based learning, and interactive games. Use of the technology integrated in technology like smart boards and couples and usual keep students engaged. And classroom management view perspectives. Teachers organize activities and set rules and address the behavior. And students experience the effect and judge fairness and clarity. And also miscommunications can lead to conflict and disengagement. In conclusion, classroom management is in discipline aspects of the teaching and learning process, especially in the context of the teaching English as a foreign and second language. Throughout this research and importance of the effective classroom management has been explored from various angles, including the impact of the students' behavior, academic performance, teachers' effectiveness of the overall classroom atmosphere. about what is classroom management. Define it. Classroom management. Good classroom management is one of the classroom management in English teaching is very important because the English teaching involves strategies. All of the teachers should create clear rules, positive teacher-student relationship, and engage activities and effective hiring. Okay, how can we use classroom management for our lessons? I think we use classroom management on our lessons. Okay, first of all, as I mentioned, teachers should their own rules. Should their own rules. First of all, organizing classroom activities is the essential, and teachers use the methods like discussions and role plays, games. Is it classroom no, teachers, first of all, should create this one. What? Clear rules and establishing the clear rules and what kind of rules are considered for classroom management? If the classroom management consists of the rules, only rules? Only rules? No. No. Developing the clear rules and also establishing the procedures and routines. Also the implementing competence and effective communication and good relationship between students and the teachers.
Okay, what is the aim of your scientific work?
The aim of my scientific research is the aim of the research by analyzing and real communication scenarios and also teachers' experience and student feedback. This study to identify best practice that contribute to the organization.
Sınıfını boş karıştırma nedir bu? Bu gece derslerde sınıfı boş karıştı. Doğru mu? Classroom management sınıfını boş karıştı. Dersi boş karıştı. Nedir bu? Zaten bu gece okuyucu, kolejin sorumlusu. Siz geçmezsek direkt mi? Hemen yolculuk 175 bütün derste yolculuk hakkında. O yüzden sınıfını boş karıştığını doğru. Siz bölümü bıraktı, bilgisayarından bıraktı. Długie to lat, powiedzieć, że to
First of all, the teachers organize your kids students, your with your build the good relationship students and your students. Also, teachers should give all of the information to your students in science and
Hayır, geçen cevap verelim. Makine. Boş karıştırıyoruz. Siz de bir dönüş var da takip edelim. Mümkün derste bir var, şey yok, çok var. Bunlar düşünler. Mesela boş karıştırma çok yere geldik. İlmi arkadaşlar, bütün problemler. Değil mi? Bir kere düşünürler. Böyle sizler çünkü okuyorsunuz. Bunlar zaten içiyor. Başka bir süreden bölümge geldi, bizden çıkarı derslere aktaralım.
nima o'sha o'quvchini o'zini qobiliyati mahorati o'sha sinf boshqarishda yordam beradi, o'zini ko'nikmalari. Misol uchun o'quvchilar bilan bo'ladigan muloqotni ham albatta sinf boshqarishga kiradi. Sinfda boshqarish degani bitta dars mobaynida o'sha sinfga yetarli bilimni berish va yaxshi kommunikatsiyani muloqot o'rnatib o'sha o'zini bilim va ko'nikmalarini bitta dars berish 45 minut maktabda 45 minut mobaynida berib o'quvchi kelishadi, tinchlantirib o'tirish, ularni shovqinni bosib o'tirishda balki o'zini bilimlarini berib ularga bir qo'shimcha misol uchun hamma taraflardan sinf odoblari tarafidan yaxshi ko'nikmalarini berib ham bilib ham odob tarafidan o'zini nimalarini berib
ta'limda talablari birinchi sinfda ko'rinadi. Talabalarni o'zi o'quvchini o'zi o'zlari chunki kirib olib ularni nima qilmasin deyapti. Shunaqangi talab qilayotganliklarini
yangiliklardan o'quvchilar va o'qituvchilar ko'proq ularni savol berdi. O'quvchilarga misol uchun debatlar o'tkazilgan voqealar tashkil qilishni ba'zi o'quvchilar bosh bo'lishi kerak.
o'zgartirish bo'yicha siz ularni to'g'ri yo'nalishga solmayotganingiz hammasi har xil tomonga ketib qoladi. Kami maksudlar qo'yamiz. Mana shu maqsadlarni erishishimiz uchun mana shu rasm Şimdi mana bunda nimasi masalalarni qarashdan o'zingiz yozibsiz. O'zingiz masalar qo'yasiz. Hamma gapni o'zingiz yozibsiz. O'zingiz gapirasiz. Nahot agar yo'q qo'llanadi. O'zingiz tomonidan qo'llanasiz, aslan. Nima desasiz yo'q. Har bir gapda o'zingiz o'zingiz gapirasiz. O'zingiz chindan qilasiz. Nimaga qo'llanasiz?
Dastlabki prezentatsiyadan ko'rsatgan nimalarni sizlarni o'shanda o'qimoqda. Mana bitta boshqa tanki emas, mana ko'chaga bormayapman. Bugungilar chiqarish qo'limda o'qiganimizda o'shanda sizlarga biz shunda nimalar bo'lishi haqida aytganman. To'g'rimi? Yo'qnomasini berganman hammaga. Shuni mana moqchiman 60 ta adabiyotdan foydalanyapti. O'zi adabiyotlar ro'yxatini shakllantirish yozilgan har bitta foydalangan adabiyotida ro'yxatimizda yo'lda sinfga bo'lish kerak degan. O'zi haqida qoidasi bo'yicha. Buni hozir sizlarga aytib to'g'rilata olmasak, ertaga kosibga miraslarni bo'yniga tushadi. O'zimizni bilishlarimizni o'zimiz to'g'riladi. Borib bunaqa turgan joydagi borib ochtirib kelib o'zini qilib yurdik. Chunki bizlar buncha to'g'ri e'tibor bermasdan olaverganmiz, o'zimiz berish kerak. 25 yil saqlanadi. Sizlar 25 yillardan yuqori chiqishga mana qanday moqchi qilganman, ish qilayotganman, ishni ochishni bunda ochishimiz kerak. Ishga yashash yo'qmi, yo'qmi? O'shani ko'rib sizlarni ishlaringizni rasm ichidagi gaplarni
kişi de olmak mesela da şu kilometrenin adil bu zamanı bunu nasıl da belum dilakukan dengan dari aman yang biasa belum lagi belum lagi menari buat apa itu mana syukur dia di proses dunia yang besar untuk hidup kita isi kalau kita Pak menjadi bersama Pak betul ini
Our next presenter, Burung Boyo Gira, Manjak Pusat. Her topic is about teaching English to students with special needs. Good morning, teachers. My name is Sophia Burong-Boyo, and now I will present my publication paper. My topic is teaching English to students with special needs. And first of all, if I pay attention to introduction. We know that English language is imperative and significant in today's world. And also our President Shakir Murziyoyev emphasized that the importance of language of learning foreign languages, especially English. And also he stated that every child has an equal right to learn foreign language, especially English. Not all of their abilities, but also with their special needs. And also, the object of my qualification paper is practical implications of various teaching strategies and tools. And subject is the increasing recognition of the importance of inclusive education in the global education landscape. And the aim is the intersection of English language proficiency, acquisition, and special needs education. And the task of my research is, first of all, to ask the challenges faced by students with special needs and require English language skills, and to investigate theoretical conditions and pedagogical approach applicable to teaching, and to examine the role of curriculum with special needs. And first of all, chapter 1 is called Theoretical Conditions of Teaching English to Students with Special Needs. Teaching English to students with special needs involves integrating knowledge of curriculum, language acquisition, language theories, language specific strategies for supporting diverse learners. And introduction to special needs education. In the first context, education refers to special needs. It means refers to students who require additional support due to physical, cognitive, their emotional, behavioral conditions that may affect their physical and their individual development. And the next one is challenges faced by students with special needs in learning English language. They are cognitive challenges, emotional challenges, physical challenges, and intersecting challenges. And the first one is there is an approach to special education is for this topic is several theories have been proposed to prove this task, teaching English to students with special needs. Below is an overview of three major language acquisition theories. First one is behaviorism by Skinner, and the next one is cognitive theory by Noam Chomsky, and constructivism by Jean Piaget and Jean. And the next one is chapter 2, methods and strategies for teaching English to students with special needs, curriculum and adaptation,
modification with special needs. Curriculum and modification are essential strategies for learning English language with special needs and fully access and participate in learning foreign language. And the next one is inclusive teaching strategies. They are cooperative learning, peer tutors, and differentiated instruction in English language learning for students with special needs. And the next one is assessment and evaluation. They, I will give the types of assessment for this. They are observation, dynamic, and portfolio, but they are not, can be example for assessment and evaluation, but others can be example for this. For example, not only portfolio-based assessment and dynamic assessment, not only peer assessment, final assessment can be example for this. And the chapter 3 topic is practical application and case studies. The name is Classroom Strategies for Inclusive English Language Teaching. For this topic, real-world examples of classroom settings and teaching techniques with special needs. And collaborating with parents and support staff. We know that for successful English language learning, not only this task for parents, but also their support staff task. That's why collaboration between teachers, parents, and support staff are essential part of teaching English to students with special needs. And the challenges and solutions that are cognitive, emotional, physical can be example for challenges and solutions with this topic. The concluded part of the research is teaching English to students with special needs requires a multiplicated approach that integrated inclusive teaching strategies, methods, adapted curriculum, design, collaborative between teachers, parents, and support staff.
Thank you. Okay, my question is, what is the special needs? What it means?
We know that we know the name of the special needs. It means refers to and also it is linked to special needs. Like it can be emotional. No. In my opinion, special needs that can be linked for additional support with special needs. Like, for example, one child that have emotional challenges, and also we give their special needs. Like, it can cause spectrum challenges with emotional challenges. That's and truly special refers to additional support.
Can you give us an example for the special needs?
Yes. For example, it can be some children have difficulties in learning ways, such as dyslexia or dyspraxia or such kind of difficulties. That's why teachers and support staff give additional support to develop their individual development. Not only we train ways individually with the students, but also we will give additional tasks to their parents criticize this lesson.
What kind of students are considered as a special needs? For example, is student is considered as a special need? Is she?
No,
Only.
we know that everyone has equal rights, but some children have difficulties and also difficult to learn some subjects. For example, some children have no evaluation.
Special needs
Special needs degani bu ma'lum bir ehtiyojga sabab bo'lgan o'quvchilar. Ya'ni bu
Masalan, hangisini o'zlashtirolmaydi, special needsga ehtiyoj bor o'quvchilardanmi? Yoki bu sizda hamma kim sizga maxsus alohida e'tiborga special needs maxsus qanaqadir yordamga
misol uchun
qanaqa studentlarni ajratishda special needs kerak bo'ladi, alohida yordam
misol uchun u jismoniy holatdan jismoniy holatni o'rganishga
mashinlar jismoniy nuqsoni bor. To'g'ri ketadi. Chunki ta'lim bugungi kunda davlat ahamiyatini hozir kuchayib borayotgan ta'limda sizlarga o'qitilgan alohida muhtoj o'sha qanaqadir disabilitasi bor jismoniy jihatda, lekin mentallarga o'rgatilmaydi. Qanaqangi o'quvchilar kiradi o'shalarga? Oramizda ham bor, sizlar bilan bilinadigan shunaqalar bor. Bir yaxshimizga aqliy jihatdan sog'lom, yaxshilanadi, lekin imkoniyati uni cheklangan, yozolmaydi. Bosib qayting qilishni qilaveradi, lekin unida bunday qilib siz bilan mana shunday yozolmaydi, harakati cheklangan. Lekin birisini siz bilan mana ko'ra, ya'ni bizdan ko'ra ayrimlarimizdan ko'ra yaxshiroq. Mana shularga ehtiyoj bor. Siz aytishingiz kerakki, jismoniy jihatdan chegaralangan, aqliy jihatdan emas. Jismoniy jihatdan chegaralangan maktabga qilinadigan farq. Sizni mavzungiz shunaqa. Sizni mavzungiz nima? Maxsus nimalarni pedagogika bilan bog'liq. Nutqida nuqsoni bor o'shalarni. Aqliy jihatdan u sog'lom, lekin nutqida nuqsoni bor. Ular yaxshi eshitmaydi. O'zi yaxshi ko'radi, balki jismoniy harakatini chegaralanishi lozim. Mana shu bilan ishlash. Bizda bormi? Qaysimiz deyapman sizga. Sizlar chizgi nima bo'lsa bizda hozir shunaqa bo'ladi. Alhamdulillah hammamiz jismimiz joyida. Bu nimadir? Jismida nuqson, aqliy emas, jismida nuqson bor bolalar uchun ishlatiladi. Sizlar ajratib berishingiz kerak. Masalan, bu bolalar uchun mana qanday, har bolalar uchun mana qanday, harakati cheklangan, masalan, DSP deyiladi, детский cerebral paraliz, baland kallasi yaxshi, lekin uni hayoti jismoniy harakatida nuqsoni bor. O'sha bolalar bilan ishlash mumkin emas. Mana bu bolalarga albatta mana bu bolalarga sizda to'g'risi nima mavzuga yaxshi fikr bor emas.
Sözleşmeni işte kurye bo'lib, mana pedagogikada, naqd pedagogika deyiladi. Oldingi psixologiya deyiladi, ajratiladi. Ular buni pedagogika bo'ladi. Eshitishlar bo'lsa, suvda pedagogika, suvda bo'ladi. Suvdasi tili, u o'rtasida mana oyoqlar. Keyin aligatorlar bor. Aligatorlar aqlida nuqsoni bor. Keyin tiklar bor. Tiklar ko'zlar nuqsoni bor. Mana shular ajralib chiqishi kerak. Ularni hammasiga alohida tadqiqot kerak. Chunki biz o'qitganmiz, suvda gapira oladi. Men nimada ishlaganimda gapira oladi. Bola 18 yoshdan keyin quloqdan qolgan. Eshitishi zaif, lekin biz bilan o'qiydi. İngiliz tilini o'zi gapira qaytara oladi. Men eshitgan normal eshitmaydi. U yozib oladi, o'rtoqlari aytadi, lekin yodlab topshiradi. Bu yerda unga alohida tadqiqot kerak. Kurslarda unga alohida ishlardi. Yana o'qitganmiz, o'zi ojiz, bizni o'zimizga ham o'qiyapti. Bizni oddiy adabiyotlarimizdan foydalanolmaydi. U o'zini bir taq qilib yozib, ustoz boshqalarga qaytaringlar. Hammaga ko'rsatgan ko'rgazmalar yozolmaydi. Uning uchun alohida so'zlarda aytib turamiz. Men yoki bironta o'rtog'i ular boshqalarga o'rgatgan, unga alohida tadqiqot kerak. Xuddi shunaqangi. O'sha jismidagi tayanch organizmlarda bo'lganlar, mana ular eshita oladi, aqli joyida. Ular o'rganishni faqat aql zaiflari o'rganayotgan xolos. Biz o'rganib chiqamiz buni, ularga sharhlash ekan. Ular baribir o'zlashtira olmaydi, lekin qolgan hammasi o'rganadi. Siz ishingizda bularni yoritishimiz kerak. Men ishingizda biron joyda ko'rmadim. Umumiy masalalarga erishib qolasiz. Hop, ishingizda mana shu belgilar nimalar ajratyapsiz. Mana ko'z ojizlar bilan nima qilishimiz kerak. Hozir olib chiqyapti. Kimni tanlaysiz? Aytib berolmayapsiz. Mashqlar bilan ishlashimiz kerak. Emotion bilan bo'lmaydi. Emotion bilan qaraqaydi. Siz o'ziga degan narsa. Masalan, auditoriyaga kirganingizda bo'lsa, kishi yaxshi o'qimaydi, o'zlashtirmaydi. Mana bular masalan, shu bola nimasini qanday bir jamlanadigan bola, u bunaqangi bolaga kirmaydi. Siz ishingizga kirmaydi, yaxshi ishingizga kirmaydi. Uni diqqatini jalb olishingiz kerak. Uni masalan, man yaxshi o'qimayotgan bo'lsam, balki mani qobiliyatim bo'ldi sizga. Balki man matematikada yaxshi bilaman. Bunga qobiliyat bo'ldi. Shunga o'rgangan. Mana shu ishingiz kerak bo'ladi. Qachon jismoniy jihatdan imkoniyatdan cheklangan bo'lsa, ana keyin o'sha holatda sinflardan asosiy muammolarga universal maqsad emas, individual maqsad bilan ishlash kerak. Boshida ham chiroyli. Inklyuziv ta'lim haqida boshlovchilik gapirib, yaxshi gapirdi desam, ular nima boshlashni sizni to'g'ri hal qilmagan. Mana ichida inklyuziv ta'lim bor ekan, diabet darajasidan bor, lekin inklyuziv ta'lim shunaqa ekan. Hozir uni maqsad pedagoglar to'g'ridan-to'g'ri nogironlikdan chiqib ketdi lug'atdan. Chunki u emotionga ta'sir qiladi. Imkoniyati cheklangan deyiladi. Nogironlikdan umuman ular lug'atdan chiqib ketgan. Ishlatmaydilar. Shuning uchun maxsus pedagogika deyaptilar. Psixologiya deyapti. Psixologiya kamchilik degan. Oldin nomi psixologiya deyilgan. Kafedra ham butun hujjatlar almashtiriladi. Maxsus pedagogika bo'ldi. Inson nogiron so'zini olib tashlashdi. Ular psixologiyada o'tgansa, bu yoqlarda salbiy ijobiy bo'lmaydi. Chunki insonlar cheklangan dedi xolos. Shunda inklyuziv ta'lim shunday bo'lib hozir ularda qaryapti, bolalar bog'chalarni sog'lomlarga qo'shyapti. Birga o'qiyapti, ular sog'lom muhitda katta bo'lsin, keng bo'lsin, imkoniyati hamma bilan o'zini faqat o'shalarga alohida maxsus qo'shilib shular bilan ko'proq ishlasin, o'sha o'zini ajragan, tansigan qismatlarni ichida sog'lomlarga degan maqsadda shunaqa. O'zimizda aqlimiz yo'q. Sog'lom bolalarni darsliklarga, filmlarga amaliy xizmatga kirsaga unga alohida savol beradi. Chunki to'laning hali bahosi qo'yilsa, u o'qiydi. Bizni metodikani shuni olib chiqib ketishimiz kerak. Hamma so'zdan o'ziga yarasha savol beradi yoki o'rtog'iga aytadi. U o'zini tushuntirib beradi. O'sha o'zi javob beradi. Undan farq qilsak, u xafa bo'ladi. Masalan, meni shunaqa qilib nima qilyapti, o'qitilishi mumkin, o'zini noto'g'ri qilishi mumkin, Unga alohida farq ertaga siz maktabga ishga borsangiz bo'ladi. Jamoatda bor. Shunga sizning yurtini o'rgatishida mavzu. Siz juda hozir bizlarni juda umuman boshqa narsalar. Bizga blogda yo'q. Mavzuancha yurmasiz. Aha,
Okay, I would like to present you another group picture. And first, only the use of storytelling techniques to teach English vocabulary and grammar. And group humidity. And they have time limit about 10 minutes.
Good morning, respected my community members. My name is Guru, and I'm honored to present my work titled "The Use of Storytelling Technique to Teach English Vocabulary and Grammar." And the relevance of the topic in modern English teaching engage students in essential storytelling offers a powerful method of enhanced vocabulary and grammar, creating emotional and cognitive connection. This approach also aligns with Western educational reforms and with oral traditions such as Alphonish and Macedonian stories. Research and fundamentals. The objective of this research is the use of storytelling in English language teaching. The subject is the application of narrative-based techniques to vocabulary and grammar. The aim is to explore and evaluate the effectiveness of these techniques in a real classroom settings. Novelty and significance. This work is unequal in its focus on storytelling, cognitive, cultural, and pedagogical dynamics within Uzbekistan's context. It proposes practical, culture-sensitive solutions for vocabulary and grammar learning and contribute to global discourse on narrative-based education. And the first chapter focuses on the theoretical foundation of storytelling in language education. It explores how narrative can be used to support cognitive development, emotional engagement, and cultural understanding in English teaching. Chapter 1 consists of two parts. First, the role of storytelling in language acquisition and cognitive development, and second, storytelling for conceptual tool for teaching vocabulary and grammar. And this section emphasizes how storytelling activates multiple areas in the brain. It builds memory, encourages imagination, and connects language to real life, especially through Vygotsky, social cultural theory, and Wagner's narrative model. Vocabulary and grammar context. Storytelling embeds words and structure into meaningful situations. This reduces cognitive overload, improves memory retention, and supports natural learning much more than memorization drills. And summary of chapter 1. Summary: cognitive engagement improves learning. It enhances attention, motivation, and memory and cultural development, making it ideal for device learners. And chapter 2, practical application of storytelling. How storytelling is implemented in classroom. It implements real activities that help students learn vocabulary and grammar in context. Chapter 2. This chapter is divided into parts. First, how storytelling activities help retain vocabulary. Second, grammar instructions with clear narratives. Storytelling enhances vocabulary by providing emotional and cultural context. Activities like oral relating, collaborative writing, and digital stories are used in Uzbek classrooms to strengthen memory and motivation. Grammar through narrative, titled Grammar via Stories. Grammar becomes clear through stories, techniques like gap filling, rewriting, role plays, and allow students to understand and practice grammar meaningful, not just as rules but a communication. And this chapter we see that storytelling leads to better student engagement, higher retention, and more fluent use of grammar. It is adaptable to both urban and rural schools. And chapter 3 deals with the challenges teachers face when applying storytelling in classroom. It also suggests ways to overcome these barriers. Chapter 3 includes two parts. First, identifying common problems in implementing storytelling. Second, evaluating how storytelling affects students' performance. And challenges include lack of teacher training, limited time, and large classes. Solutions involve teacher workshops, adaptable materials, and using cultural familiar stories and easy implementation. And evaluation results. Studies and classroom results show a 80% vocabulary retention, better grammar use, and students' participation. Teachers also report higher classroom energy and improvement students' confidence. And our conclusion, storytelling is not only enjoyable but also a scientifically effective method for language teaching. It respects students' culture, enhances retention and motivation learners. I recommend it all as a whole straight for teaching English in Uzbekistan. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your translation. Thank you. You said that storytelling is also effective not only for entertainment and to teach vocabulary grammar. Can you give us the certain example that storytelling is used to develop vocabulary of the students? How can we use to develop students' vocabulary in our lessons?
Students use storytelling, vocabulary and grammar. Students read the story and use and students understanding new words and
Storytelling, bu hikaye aytishlar ve aytish orqali bu method, storytelling the method bilasizlar, o'rgangansizlar. Bu orqali ham lug'atda ham grammatikani oshirishadi. Qanday qilib lug'atni oshirishda foydalanish mumkin? Masalan, siz darsingizni storytelling qilmoqchisiz, lug'at talabalar lug'atini oshirishni o'quvchilaringizga. Qanday foydalanasiz bitta hikoya turibdi, qanday qilib lug'atni oshirishingiz mumkin? Bitta hikoyani.
Bu hikoyada aytilgan so'zlarni yozib, bilmagan so'zlarni tarjimasini so'zlog'ini
Grammatikalarchi.
Grammatikalar. Grammatikaga ham shunaqa joyga kelgan so'zlarda grammatikalarda
Storytellingda hozir hikoyani tarqatib so'zlayapman, to'g'rimi? Hozir bitta tajriba biz nimada bunaqangi tajribada bo'lganimizda Hindistonda ingliz tili va chet tillar universitetida storytelling fan sifatida ishlaydi. O'zi kafedrasi bor ekan. Bizga dars o'tib bergan kafedrasida o'sha tezliklar chiqib fan sifatida o'tiladi. YouTube'da va Instagram'da kuzatib o'tiring, hozir so'zlagan bo'ldim. Hamma asboblari, ular musiqa, so'zi, hikoya beryapti bizga, oddiy hikoyalar, ko'proq tabiat bilan bog'liq ekan, tabiatda shamol bo'lsa, shamolni ovozini qo'yayotgan, har xil asboblar, nay bo'lsa, nay chalib, suvni sindirasi, hikoya qilib beradi, unga artistik mahoratini beradi. Xuddi shunaqa qilib berdi, butun auditoriya YouTube'dan ortida videolari ham bor edi. Men bolalarga so'zlayman, fan sifatida o'rgatdilar, chet tilini o'qitishda fan sifatida. Biz buni bitta metod sifatida o'rganib qolamiz. Bitta metod sifatida. Ular fan sifatida o'rganiladigan o'sha o'rgatiladigan o'qitiladi. Keyin qo'limizga aytdik, mana shundanida, mana shu tulki bilan, masalan, qush bilan bo'rini sifatini kim nima qildi? Bo'lib qo'ydida bu qo'llarga sifatini, tulki bilan bo'rini, qush bilan quyonni sifatini o'rganadi. Kimdir kim boshqa sohaga boshqalar retelling qilib beradi. Mana nima o'xshayapti retelling bilan speaking o'xshayapti. Listening eshitish qobiliyati, rol play qilyapti, yana gapiryapti. Bunday kayfiyat qaysi bir qoidalarga ko'proq nima ishlar qilyapti, zamonga ko'proq ishlar qilyapti. Balki ko'proq ishlanadi. Qaysi so'z yoki siz o'qigan 5 so'z yozilyapti. Nima kelyapti bilan? Teoriya kelyapti. Demak, mana shunaqa qilib foydalanish mumkin bo'lgan texnika. Hozir o'shanda har storytelling demak, hali shunday metod sifatida story beramiz, qo'yamiz degani. Rol playni ham oshirish uchun xizmat qiladi. What are the important aspects of role playing? The important aspects of role playing.
This role play is storytelling in the classroom.
No, storytelling. The word role playing, storytelling.
And that's storytelling.
muhim jihati nima?
Muhim jihati bolalarning miyasida o'sha joylar
Yo'q, buni tanlashingiz, masalan, nimaga qarab e'tibor berib tanlashingiz kerak bo'ladi? Tanlashingiz uchun qanaqangi muhim jihatlar sizga qiziqarli? Nimani olaverasizmi? Nimaga e'tibor berasiz? Qanaqangi jihatlarga e'tibor berasiz? O'sha gapirib berish uchun, o'sha hikoyani sindirib berish uchun hozir gapirib o'tganlar qanaqangi bo'lishi kerak? O'shani tanlashingiz, qanaqangi muhim aspektlarga e'tibor berishingiz kerak bo'ladi? O'qiganda tekstingizni to'g'risini bilib, maqsadga olib yuraverasizmi? Yo'q, bu jihatlar bormi?
yoshiga bitta o'quvchilar nimaga moslashish, misol uchun past o'zlashtiruvchilar, baland o'zlashtiruvchilar bor. Shular yoshiga o'zlariga qarab turib, shunga mos story
o'zizga xohlagan tomonga topib ketadigan storytelingda kursdan birinchi mavzuga mavzu siz har mavzuda bo'lishi kerak. Siz tanlagan mavzudan ham bo'lishi kerak. Ikkinchi, undagi jihatlarga e'tibor berishingiz kerak. Jihon nima bo'lishi, eslanishlarni, o'sha hadisalarni, sizni dinlashga ta'sir qiluvchi nima bor? Uchinchi, erta balandga berganingizdan keyin ular o'ylaydigan emotsional holatga e'tibor berishingiz kerak. Bu qo'shni voqeani mavzuni nazarda olib, qo'shni voqeani o'ylashingiz kerak. Emotsional holatiga ham e'tibor berishingiz kerak. Va to'rtinchi, eng oxirgisi sizga amaliy natijasi kerak. O'sha odamlar siz natija beradimi yoki sizga yo'qmi? Mana shu narsalarga qarab siz mavzu tanlashingiz 아무리 우리는 지나가서 배워주고 진짜 그만큼이라면서 스스로 배우는 것을 알고 나서 봤어. 아마 스스로 같이 공부를 많이 이 마치는 인식성을 나고 그것을 어느 시간 주어나가 그만큼 있어요. 나도 그런 것을 그런 말이야. 인식성을 어느 시간 주어나가 그런 식으로 만드는 말이에요. 그 말을 좋아하는 뜻을 보는데 말을 좋아하는 there is can happen and is growing that hot. Lalu berdasarkan pasal ini sudah apa ini? Apa seperti sama dengan itu? Apa langsung kata orang ada saja popular sebenarnya popular Rusia Uzbekistan'da rotları var mı bu mantıklı? Hiç bu soruda bir şey var mı? Uzbekistan'da yapılmış bu işleri. Rotasını sonra getirtemez. Rotasını. Hatta uzunuzda bunların mekanizmalarını seçimi bulmadınız mı? Uzunuzda mekanizmalarını seçimi bulmadınız mı? Waktu mungkin, mungkin kita akan mengatakan internet mahal, nasib orang yang luar biasa mahal. Kalau kita punya partai yang jadi orang orang berjuang orang sana, berjuang dengan aktif, mungkin soalnya macam apa? Nama kita tahu itu. Hiç kimse mesela sorunlar da yani harus diye aktif di mana sana. Kalau itu.
Our next presenter, Ayuba Biruzafar. After the presenter, topic is about fast-paced language teaching, analyzing the factors of fast-paced learning in enhancing cognitive competence among English language learners. Good morning, our teachers and our teachers. Now qualification paper, fast-paced language teaching analyzes the effectiveness of fast-paced learning in enhancing cognitive competence among English language learners. My scientific advisor is Habajan Sajjana, and English is now considered the global language here. Traditional methods such as memorization and grammar drills are also ineffective in real-life communication. Fast-paced language teaching are more learner-centered approach by integrating real-life context into language learning. And this slide we show aim of the work to analyze the effectiveness of fast-paced language teaching in enhancing learning communicative competence. Object my work, the English language teaching process with a focus on communicative interactions. And there are many tasks, fast-paced language teaching, review theoretical foundation of fast-paced language teaching, define communicative competence, to compare fast-paced language teaching and traditional methods, and to analyze empirical studies on fast-paced language teaching outcomes. Also practical pedagogical recommendations. And novelty my research work to integration of communicative competence models with fast-paced language teaching practice in the context of Central Asia. There are theoretical value and practical value. The fast-paced language teaching has several methods. First of all, theoretical and comprehensive analysis, comprehensive analysis, and empirical review of transform evidence.
Chapter 1, named Theoretical Foundations. This chapter explores the theoretical foundation of basic language teaching and based on communicative language teaching and second language acquisition and cognitive and social cultural theories. Chapter 1, structure and content. There are three subchapters and theoretical foundation, flexibility and adaptability, and last one is types of tasks and core elements. Theoretical foundation of task-based language teaching to communicate prioritize all grammatical perfections and cognitive theory, learning self-meaningful problem solving, and there are science Vygotsky mentioned social cultural theory, learning social collaboration and scaffolding. And key features task-based language teaching. There are tasks different proficiency levels, for example, to support individual and group work styles, reflect authentic communication context, to promote a learner autonomy and different shape instructions. Task-based language teaching has many tasks, for example, information gaps, problem solving and decision making, role playing, and project based and jigsaw tasks. Core elements principles there are real world communication, task complexity and gradual increase, attention to core number in context, learner-centered approach. Chapter 2, effectiveness of task-based language teaching. This chapter discusses practical application of task-based language teaching, various proficiency levels. For example, highlights teacher-learner interaction and includes real classroom case studies. Structure chapter 2, implementation across learner levels, teacher-learner interaction, and last one, case studies and experimental findings. Teacher-learner interactions, teacher as facilitator, not auditory, real-time, and post-task feedback. These teacher-learner interactions help learners build confidence and cognitive competence. Case studies and findings. Task-based language teaching, many case studies. For example, high school students planned more communicative events, teamwork and public speaking. Adult for example, English second language teaching, mock job interviews increase fluency and practical communication. Chapter 3, there are three subchapters: strengths and weaknesses, application in different contexts, suggestion and future development. Strengths and weaknesses of task-based language teaching. There are many strengths of task-based language teaching. For example, promotes real-world communication and enhance motivation and engagement to support active learner-centered instruction. But they have weaknesses, for example, require well-trained teachers, time-consuming task planning, and complex assessment criteria. Application in educational settings.
There are primary and secondary schools, higher education, and workplaces. Future recommendation and prospects to provide training in task-based pedagogy, design flexible and cognitive assessment tools, encourage learner automatically and self-monitoring, task-based language teaching can involve with technology and educational policy support. Conclusion, chapter 1, theoretical foundation. One being the theory tested language teaching to integrate multiple theories include common language teaching, social control models. Chapter 2, while challenges like assessment and training exist, they are manageable. Task-based language teaching is suitable for all educational contexts when adapted properly. Thank you. My first question is about task-based language teaching. How many books or works are you studying on during writing your curriculum? If I'm not mistaken, since 6 months, I read a lot of books related to task-based language teaching. For example, first book named word Praku. Praku word means element. Theoretical foundation of task-based language teaching. Okay. What about other authors? Munan and Vygotsky. And our Uzbek science yes, Muslim. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. What method do you use to your research?
We use a lot of methods in task-based language teaching. For example, complex of methods and to compare.
I see four methods: theoretical,
Theoretical and
comparative,
complementary and
empirical synthesis.
yes.
What is the theoretical analysis?
Theoretical analysis is theory task-based language theory. Yes.
Okay, the component analysis. Component analysis. The room is right here. You know, grammatical,
Yes.
psycholinguistical,
Yes. We include the components and first theoretical and discourse and
social, cultural.
So it can be linguistic,
Linguistic.
grammatical, and strategic. And compare, analyze,
To compare,
compare with what? Compare with past. Okay, and three, entire positive. And the next one?
Our next speaker, Ali Abdul Rahman. I'm sorry. Abdul Rahman. So, I'm first talking about common physical response, like the static approach to teaching English, its applications and limitations.
acho que ele está com ali no meio da maneira.
You are welcome to your presentation and we have minutes about and okay.
Good morning, our respected teachers and workmates. Today I'm going to present I'm honored to present my qualification work called the Kinesthetic Approach to Teaching English, its applications and limitations. Okay, this project explores how movement-based learning methods can enhance English teaching, especially for young learners and active learners. Well, this work explores the theory and practice of total physical response as a kinesthetic approach in English teaching, highlighting its potential to enhance engagement and retention in language learners. Okay, first of all, the relevance of the topic in today's education system, traditional methods are often not enough to engage all learners. Kinesthetic approach like total physical response offer new possibilities for more active, memorable, and interactive language learning. The object of the research is the process of teaching English using kinesthetic methods, and the subject of the research is total physical response method and how it's applied in various classroom settings. And the novelty is the localized empirical study applying total physical response beyond early grades. The aim of this project is to analyze the effectiveness and limitations of total physical response and thus to explore theory, analyze application, identify challenge, evaluate impact and practical significance, support development of total physical response based activities aligned with national goals. Chapter 1, Theoretical Framework. Chapter 1 focuses on the theoretical foundations of kinesthetic learning and the total physical response methods. We examine how physical movement, cognitive psychology, and language acquisition theories are all connected in the context of total physical response. Now, the structure of the chapter 1, understanding kinesthetic learning, origins and development, psychological and cognitive foundation, and comparison with other traditional methods. In this part, the concept provides the groundwork for understanding how physical activities support memory and learning. Origins and development. There are I used Dr. James Ushers and Vygotsky, Paget, and other founders of total physical response methods science work, and psychological and cognitive communications presents how embodied cognition, multiple intelligence, and neurocognitive research support total physical response benefits for memory and engagement.
such as improved engagement, better memory, and enjoyment. There is also explored limitations like its unsuitability for teaching abstract grammar or advanced writing skills. Chapter 2 focuses on the practical side of psychophysical response in classroom. It covers how to design kinesthetic learning lesson plans, implement the psychophysical response activities, and adapt them to the different age groups. The structure of chapter 2 consists of lesson planning, psychophysical response in classrooms, activities and games, assessment through kinesthetic strategies. Teachers must align physical actions with language input and ensure the movement serves a real learning goal. Kinesthetic lesson planning should be useful for students to learn something new, not for the entertainment. And details, activities and games. There are some activities like Simon says, role playing, relay, storytelling with actions, and using movements and body movement and gestures to teach new vocabulary. Assessment through kinesthetic strategies covers observational, performance-based, and peer assessment and self-assessment. Explains how kinesthetic learning can be evaluated for long-term impact. The chapter 3 for implementation in schools, especially for the learners who are the second language. So the physical response in some Uzbek schools, practical challenge and solutions, teacher training and development, and evaluating long-term effect. Well, challenge and evaluation. So the physical response with national education goals, examples of adaptation using flexible spaces and contact-based learning, and effectiveness. There is some limitations. Not all classrooms or teachers are ready for movement-based methods, so we must consider practical constraints. And teacher training. Describes training on theoretical foundations and hand-on activities, advocates for ongoing support and community learning. Long-term impact summarizes studies showing better retention, motivation, and fluency among learners exposed to psychophysical response over time. And conclusion, to conclude, psychophysical response is a powerful tool for making English learning more interactive and memorable. It works best when balanced with other methods and adapted to the age groups and classroom context. Despite the challenge, psychophysical response improves long-term proficiency when supported by training and infrastructure. That's all.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I have a question. What is the kinesthetic ability? What is the difference between traditional learning and kinesthetic learning?
Well, traditional learning, like we used to learn grammar translation method and talk-based language teaching maybe, but kinesthetic approach is teaching any foreign language with the physical movement. As I used one of the methods I used for my second grade pupils at school. When I was teaching some words, I showed that like the dog is flying to fly, and that's what flying. That's for flying. And sometimes I use Simon says. Simon says to stand up and please stand up, like this kind of activities. And kinesthetic approach based on physical movement, and psychophysical response is also teaching some kind of new vocabulary or new language through physical movement.
with actions.
Have you any kind of recommendation in the early ages of learners?
Early learners. Well, they're very curious and more they need more space to move actively and role play and fun.
What about the games, learning games?
I use it widely, I would say, and please do or not to do it. And sometimes I just show gestures and physical movement.
And the last?
And the last our presenter, personally, my only presenter, I still talking about the effectiveness of blended learning models in their instruction, analyzing the implications of face-to-face and online instruction methods in improving language skills. Good morning, teacher, and my group mates. I take it was an opportunity to present my presentation paper. Today, I will speak about the effectiveness of blended learning models in English as a second language instruction, analyzing the combination of face-to-face and online instruction methods in improving language skills. This topic is especially relevant in the context of modern education and digital transformation in language teaching. Introduction. What is blended learning? Blended learning is an educational model that combines traditional in-person teaching with online learning tools. In English as a second language instruction, blended learning provides flexible, interactive, and student-centered approach. It helps learners to improve their skills through diverse resources and suggest active engagement in this English language. In my presentation paper, chapter 1, theoretical foundation, I introduce the concept of the blended learning in English as a second language. Also, I explain case theoretical like Vygotsky and Krashen and highlight both benefits and challenges. Chapter 2, methodological approaches, mixed method design, quantitative and qualitative. I use it for both tests and interviews to measure language improvements and student engagement. Research rational. This topic is timely and important, especially for Uzbekistan, because our country focusing on developing global conflict education. The government encourages the use of language learning, use of digital technologies to improve English language proficiency. The aim of my research to analyze how language learning affects English language proficiency. To achieve this goal, I set several objectives. First, explore case theoretical frameworks, identify benefits and drawbacks, evaluate real-life application, and offer practical recommendations. The next is the object of my research is ESL instructional process using language models. The subject is how language
traditional implementation and integrating both academic and technological perspectives. Research method I use both theoretical and practical methods. First, definitional analysis of core concepts. The next, component analysis to break down blended learning structure. The next, comparative analysis to contrast traditional and blended models. The last one, empirical methods, including pre and post tests, surveys, interviews, and observations. Conceptualizing blended learning in English as a second language. Blended learning combines synchronous instruction, real-life interaction. For example, group discussion, asynchronous learning, self-visit study. Benefits of blended learning. First, flexible scheduling, increased learner autonomy, personalization through adaptive tools, multimedia engagement, repeated access to materials, greater inclusivity for diverse learners. The blended learning isn't without any limitation. First, students may face digital divide, for example, lack of internet connection and unequal access to devices. Teachers regardless need for digital pedagogy training. Case studies, higher education English as a second language program shows improved outcomes in writing and speaking. Secondary school use storytelling apps to enhance listening and pronunciation. Workplace English as a second language training balances flexibility with professional relevance. All cases emphasize the need for structured guidance and feedback. Research finding blended instruction improve test scores, especially in writing and listening. Students reported higher motivation and engagement. Showed consistent online participation among more successful learners. Teachers value the model but require technical support. Conclusion. Blended learning offers a highly effective model for ESL instruction, combining the strengths of traditional and digital methods. When designed and supported properly, it improves language proficiency, fosters autonomy, and prepares learners for real-life communication.
Now you have talked about the effectiveness of learning learning. Are there any differences in our lesson? Can you tell us about pros and cons about the blended learning method?
Okay. Blended learning has any benefits, for example, flexible scheduling, and improve our listening and pronunciation skills. And also, blended learning isn't without limitation. For example, students face digital divide, lack of, for example, lack of internet connection and unequal access to device. We also need digital pedagogy training for teachers.
without students, are there any restrictions for students?
Students must,
Only the connection with the internet or another restriction?
students must be self, o'ziga o'zi nima qilishi ko'proq bo'lishi kerak. Bunaqada first, blended learning is an educational model that combines face-to-face and online learning tools. So, teachers teach students in the classroom, then give tasks in online. So students really more self-control.
Qanday ishlatamizmi? Hozir bunda o'qish davomida bilan ishlatyapsizmi? Foydalanyapsizmi?
Yes.
Qachon holatlar, qaysi holatlarda? Masalan, darslarda ishlatdingmi? Qaysi holatlarda masalan?
Misol uchun, bu degani o'sha texnologiyalar darsda qo'llash. Biz hamma hozir our country focusing on developing globally competitive education. So teachers must use digital technologies in the classroom. Then they use digital technologies. Their lessons be more effective and be more effective.
Face-to-face oddiy darslarimiz, biz foydalanyapmiz. Qachon foydalanyapmiz? Topshiriqlar beryapmiz, bajarib tekshirishga ulgurmay qolsak, guruhimiz bor. Hammasidan to'g'rimi? Mana shu ekashlar tekshirib beramiz. Mana shu ikkalasini yangi tuvalni qilganmiz bo'ldi. Bularni masalan, raytingdan to'g'rimi tekshirishga ulgurmaydi talabalarni. Mana shuncha
Hozir oramizda bo'layotgan qismlarni oldik,
face-to-face o'rgatildi. Baholash deganda platformaga yuklanib ishlaydi. Yoki mustaqil ta'limlari bajarish o'quvchi shunga nimaga tekshirib olmadi, lekin nimaga dars o'tdi. Platformada mustaqil ta'lim uchun nima qo'ygan. Demak, mana shu hozirgi kunda dolzarb mavzu eng keng tarqalib, ham zamonaviy texnologiyalardan ham traditsion metoddan foydalangan usulimiz bo'ldi. Rahmat. haqli o'qituvchilar, komissiyalar bilan kelishgan hammalari ishlarini tanib chiqib, biz juda to'g'ri ideal istayapman. Biz sizlarni a'lochilar ta'limni sizlarga biz 3 baho qo'yish, bahoga yo'nalishlarni aslida baho qo'yishga o'zimizni o'zimiz maslahat beramiz. Lekin bu to'g'rilardan bir asl shartlik bo'lmayapti. Ishlaringiz shunaqangi kamchilik bu. Hamtomonlik ishlarni nima bu masalaga haqiqiy baholaylik o'ylaymiz. Chunki bu ish sizlarni bizlarning o'zimizga qoladi. Hozir biz sizlarga hamma nima tashkillashtirishda, rasmiylashtirishda nima xato qilayotganini bitta ta'kidlamiz, o'shani ishda ochib, boshqatdan chiqarib, o'sha xato kamchiliklarni to'g'rilab, boshqatdan kelyapsizlar. Tushunarlimi? Qarang, birinchidan hammani bu nimalarni hal qiladi. New Times romanlar bo'lsin, faqat mana boshqa shifrda yozilgan, kursivda yozilgan, kursiv bo'lmasa, faqat New Times romanlar. To'g'ri, katta kichik bo'lishi mumkin, lekin faqat New Times romanda yozilgan bo'lsin. Har xil shifrlarda ham yozilgan. Birinchisi, ikkinchisi,